So we are towards the beginning of the Torah, actually, just the
Very close,
second
yeah.
parsha, the second Sedra reading of the Torah. And Rabbi Laufer and I want to share a little bit about the history, right? Of
How we got here.
how we got here, right? We're going to set the scene.
We are, but we're skipping the let there be light part.
We are? Okay. That's the part where God creates the world?
Yeah, but we're
Okay.
skipping that.
We're skipping that. Okay.
Yeah.
We're starting with Adam and Eve.
Correct. The first people.
They lived in a garden that was so nice, it didn't even need a gardener.
No, they didn't have any chores or anything. No.
No, but they did have a rule. Do you know what that rule was? Don't eat from that particular tree. It was the only rule. It's sort of like when you take your kids to the candy store and say you can't have any candy except that
So let
one.
me guess what happened. They ate from the tree.
Of course they did.
Yeah,
And
of course they did.
you know what happened? Out they went.
Amazing. And then they had kids, yeah?
Yeah, two kids, Cain and Abel. How did that turn out?
How did that go?
Well, it was badly. Let's just say that sharing was not exactly
Okay.
part of their thinking.
And then after that,
More people, more problems.
like what?
Well, people started fighting and stealing and just being really mean to one another.
So, not going great. God, not so happy.
Nope, not happy at all. Hugely not happy.
Was there like anything good, anyone good out there?
One person, anybody know his name? Noah.
Noah. Oh, wait. Noah is that ark guy.
He's the ark guy.
Okay,
He's known as
okay.
the ark guy. That's him. And that's where our story begins, with Noah, the ark guy.
Okay, so Noah's story is about to begin.
Yeah, it starts with rains, and it starts with animals, and a brand new start to the world.
Okay, so we're ready. Like we're almost there.
Yeah, we are. But
Okay.
before we kind of sail off, what if all of you, got to choose?
Like if we were there.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly right. So if you were the one to decide what kind of person you would be when the world was really going badly.
Okay, so a couple things to think about, right? Would you run away and hide? Always an option. Would you do exactly the thing you were told not to do, a la Adam and Eve? Would you listen to God? Would you build something new? You've got a lot of choices here.
Well, or maybe it's time for all of you to choose your own adventure. You're all Noah. Put yourself in Noah's spot, and let's see what you would do.
Okay, so we got ourselves to Noah, the only kind of good guy around, and God, well, let's see what happens.
Well, one day God speaks to Noah because he says to Noah, listen, Noah, the world has become cruel and unfair, and it's filled with noise and bad stuff.
Noah, I'm gonna send a great big flood to wash the world clean, start over, clean slate. You are going to build an ark. That's a big, big boat to keep your family and the animals, all kinds of animals, safe.
So me and Mrs. Noah and our
Yep.
children, we're
Yep.
okay. But what do you mean a boat? As big as that? How will it manage to fit everybody? Who will believe me and who's going to help me?
Just, you know what, you build a boat, and I'll show you the way.
Well, now Noah has to choose what to do. If you think Noah should wait, maybe check it out, speak to a bunch of people and see if they'll change to become better. Or maybe Noah should ask God some questions. Raise your hand in a moment if that's going to be your choice, because you get two choices.
Right, we're going to give you two choices.
So one is Noah goes around talking to a lot of people and says, listen, let's see if things can change for the better. That's choice
choice
A.
one. Yeah, choice
one.
A, sure.
Okay. If you think Noah should just start building the ark right away, don't ask any questions, sort of like Nike, just do it. That's choice B. So choice A is Noah goes around and asks everybody, let's make a change, let's see if we can get better. And choice B, Noah doesn't ask any questions, he just does it.
Okay, so now, you only get one choice. You can't choose both. So if you would do choice A, you have a few more questions before this whole ark building business. Raise your hand. Wow, we have
okay.
believers here. Yeah. I know some of you personally, and I know that you would actually do A, but all right, you're going to pick choice B. I'm with you. All right. Now raise your hand if you are like, all right, God said so, I'm building my ark. Going from point A to point B. Oh, we got double hands. All right. We have a lot of abstentions here.
I think.
A lot of abstentions.
Are you going to help build the ark, the people who aren't raising their hands?
Okay.
Okay.
So let's talk for a second about what happens with each choice. So if we build choice A, and I'm Noach, I say, maybe if I wait, maybe if I ask questions, maybe if I tell people how bad it's really going to be, maybe people will listen and things will get better. But it turns out the fighting doesn't actually stop. Noah tries that. The world grows louder and meaner and even more broken. Right? Or you have choice B, where Noah says, sometimes you just start. Even if you don't understand everything yet, even if you're not sure how you're getting from there to there, you just do it. And so in that version, Noah starts to build plank by plank while the world keeps doing what it's going to do. And so the next morning, according to the text, right, God speaks to Noah, and then the next morning, Noah stands there still like, what do I do? Do I do A? Do I do B? Do I do A? Do I do B? And then he takes his hammer, thunk, and he says, well, that's the sound of trying. And I guess that is where the next adventure begins, where Noah starts to build the ark.
I want to share with you 3 things you can take away about the story of Noah and the flood. And this is pretty sophisticated insights that I've learned over the years from other people. You know, floods are not unique to Judaism. There are a lot of flood stories in a lot of other cultures. And all the floods, for example, the Gilgamesh, they came because the gods were not comfortable, or the gods couldn't sleep, or sometimes they were random reason. But do you know what brought the flood on? What we just talked about. And this is unique to Judaism. God brings on the flood because people are treating each other badly. In other words, God was upset at the moral degradation of society. God cares primarily how we treat each other, and God was upset about that. And that's why God brought on the flood. The second point I want to share with you is about Noah. Noah is a good man. In other stories of the flood, in other cultures, they weren't picked. They often were saved by one person, but not because they were good, but because they were handsome or smart. God picks Noah because he's good, which even further reinforces the idea of the centrality of goodness. And then finally, it says in the Torah that Noah walked with God. Think about that. Noah was not an Israelite. Noah wasn't Jewish. The Torah doesn't care. The Torah doesn't care about one's race, one's colors, one's religion. It only cares about goodness. And every single one of us is a descendant of Noah. So those 3 points. God brings on the flood because the world people are treating each other badly and is filled with evil, and that's what brought on the flood. The second, that God chose Noah because Noah's goodness. And the third is it doesn't matter if one's an Israelite, religion, race, color. What matters are one's values and one's ethics. And that's just another lesson from what some people think is just a story of a flood, but it's really so much more. And that's the richness of the Torah and why we as Jews are so fortunate to be the inheritors of this tradition and to bring it to the world.